What's going on, guys? Black Scout Survival. This is afternoon intel dump. And this one is like a buffet at a sketchy strip club. You don't know what's going to hit your gut first, but you know it ain't going to be good for you. Okay, so we got Trump with his ever-present shadow, Harry Lutwick, doing a little ritual theater. I'm going to show you a lot of things today. It's going to blow your mind. Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, is talking about aliens like she's auditioning for one of the History Channel shows while the Epstein files gather dust in the corner. We have a $50 million bounty on Nicolás Maduro's head, and the Pentagon just greenlit fighting across the border into Mexico, right? You're not going to get this on Fox, man. You're going to get this on CNN. They're too busy telling you what Kim Kardashian is wearing today. We do real grown man news here. So thanks for tuning in, and let's dig into all this stuff. So anyway, let's talk about the Lutwick, the mystery. He is Trump's +1, okay, that nobody voted for. Harry Lutwick, the Secretary of Commerce. Sounds like a boring position, right? Trade deals, supply chain, tariff disputes. But this guy is never more than 2 feet away from Donald Trump staring at him. He's almost like a Secret Service agent with a better suit. I'm going to show you this one particular clip here. Let me play it real quick. They're both wearing yarmulkes, tearing up paper in some kind of ritual. That's him here. I'm not saying what it is. I'm just showing you the visual and letting you connect the dots, because in politics, optics are intentional. If you're in the frame, you're there for a reason. But hey, maybe the Secretary of Commerce just really likes cosplay, funerals, and nobody told us. I don't know. But odd. We're going to get back to him in a moment. Odd thing that just popped up in my feed. I thought crazy. But man, it's been a world of distractions lately. If you notice, you know, Sydney Sweeney came up, even so much so that the President of the United States was talking about her. I mean, these things are just mild things are getting polarized. We now have Tulsi Gabbard, the surfer girl who once roasted her own party on live TV, is now Trump's Director of National Intelligence. She's, you know, seems to be transitioned to Pro 2A. She is calling people out. I think she's been a fiery torch in the administration. You know, she's the one who called out Obama the other day, saying that the treasonous traitor he is. I like it. I'd like to see more of it. But now she's talking about aliens. Say what? For sure. She's saying aliens. She says she believes they may be real. So she says she has to be careful what she shares in her role. So she's telling us that she knows something, and she knows the main distraction is coming soon. Cool, Tulsi, but maybe instead telling us about the little green men, you could maybe open the Epstein files, drop them for us, you know, because the DNI, you know, might have some very famous international names in there. So I would like to see it. That seems like a DNI position, possibly. Maybe put some pressure on. This UFO distraction playbook, man, they've been running this thing since the 1940s, if you didn't know. 1947, Roswell, big political headaches were happening in Washington, D.C., and suddenly we're talking about weather balloons and flying saucers. You look into the 1950s and 60s, you got Project Blue Book, sold as a studying UFOs, but really just a PR tool to bury bad press and muddy classified weapons testing. Then let's jump into 1980s. We have Iran-Contra scandal. CIA running guns and cocaine. Suddenly spiking UFO coverage. Pure coincidence, I'm sure. 2017, the New York Times leaks the Pentagon UFO program right as intelligence overreach stories start catching fire. Nah, I don't pay attention. Look that way, squirrel. It's simple. When a scandal gets too hot, they roll out the UFO junk. And right now, the Epstein list stays locked up. Tulsi talks aliens, and you're supposed to think that's coincidence. Okay. Yeah. Even so much so, check it out.
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country. And that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit. Okay? Yeah, please.
Okay, so what happened is that it caught wind to the press that J.D. Vance was hosting Epstein file party at his house, basically inviting Pam Bondi, and Cash Patel and some other people. Dan Bongino was not invited. He's been a little in the shadows, hadn't seen him. That should tell you something, because that dude called a conscience a few weeks ago, talking about stepping down. So he is called a conscience. I think he's not in the circle anymore, because the circle is protect the deep state, i.e. they, them. Anyway, so looking now, we have Trump saying hoax, complete bullshit. Well, it wasn't last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. The man was in a prison cell. Then we sent Todd Blanchett down there to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell and said, "Oh, she didn't mention Trump at all." You know why? This came out. She didn't say anything. She said 0 words because she's wanting a deal before she opens her mouth. So of course, nobody's name was named. No one's name was named. She did not speak for the 8 hours or 9 hours at all. We also have the Trump admin going to Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan's been heckling this junk a lot, asking Joe Rogan for help to help cover up and drop the Epstein story. Joe Rogan is not going to have that, because Joe Rogan is a man that loves controversy. So he is not going to bow down to that. But the thing is that I would just like to get to the bottom of it. If it's a hoax and bullshit, then why did you say Clinton should be talked to and been to the island 28 times? I mean, I do think it's pretty remarkable that we have a weird photo of Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton. This is in Epstein's Manhattan house, okay? His mansion, the most expensive, neighbor to Howard Lutnick, the guy that stands right beside Donald Trump constantly. Then we also have this. Look at this. A dollar bill signed by Bill Gates, none other than Bill Gates, Microsoft himself, saying you win, as well as a lot of other important high-level ranking people that he had photos of in his apartment. I don't have any photos like that. So obviously, there's something to it, and I would like to get to the bottom of it. I would like people to be prosecuted. I think it's injustice to say it's hoax and bullshit. And to me, man, it is the line. I'm sorry, it's the line. A lot of people said, man, you just turn your back. Well, I look past warp speed, dude. I look past the bump stock ban. I look past the letting J6 go the way it did, because I mean, a real leader would have got in the trenches. I mean, I'm just saying. But anyway, I look past all these things. I look past the stopping Ukraine war day one. I look past that we're still funding to this very moment of this video, Ukraine. I look past many things. I did. And some people say you changed. I didn't change. What happened is our government took a hard left turn, which they've always been this way. Obama was funded by AIPAC as well, if you didn't know. Obama was funded by AIPAC, the same people. So right and left. So all those people that told me for years saying that the left and the right are the same, of the same bird, two wings of the same bird, and I would argue that point, I realize now that I was pretty much wrong, because they're all owned by a foreign government. And it's just a fact. And we're going to get into that. I'm going to show lots of that information. There's just things that I don't understand. I can't understand practicing some kind of ritual that's not part of my religion at all. And you can say whatever you want about Genesis 12:3 says this. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. I went over this the other day. It does not say what you're referencing that. I see people quote it all the time. That ain't what it says. And all that come to Christ are the chosens, right? There's no difference. Okay, so you can go through that propaganda that you've been taught because of after 1948 there was a massive push in Western Christianity because you don't see the other Christians around the world in the same fashion as us. How we just worship this land, okay, this state nation that was created by the United Nations, backed by Rothschilds. Okay, you don't see that happening. The Catholic Church, which I'm not Catholic, but I know the Catholic Church does not even recognize it as the same as the one spoken about in the Bible. So therefore, you have to believe that there's some kind of propaganda. And I'm sorry I went down this rabbit hole, but the reason why is it's just too odd. We're just seeing too much of this stuff. Okay, this brings me to Maduro, the $50 million bounty on his cabeza. Okay, Nicolás Maduro, the U.S. has slapped a $50 million bounty on him, which is basically a Wild West wanted poster with modern branding. How many guys want to go take a trip, man? Let's go get 50 million. Officially, they labeled him a narco-terrorist. Maybe he is. But the timing right after, he's been critical of one country. Not that one. Sorry. Blaine's international sign is for unrest. Venezuelan president urges Jewish people to stop Netanyahu. Now we get down to brass tacks, my friends. We get down to brass tacks. Pam Bondi said we can not have that. We cannot have it. You can't talk about Netanyahu, right? But here's the thing, man. The narco-terrorism label is the U.S. foreign equivalent of yelling witch in the 1600s. You don't have to prove it. You just really have to say it. And suddenly, that person is fair game. Example one. Manuel Noriega, Panama, 1988, indicted on drug trafficking charges. 2 years later, 27,000 U.S. troops roll in to snatch him up, and the Panama Canal situation gets very convenient for Washington. I actually had a guy when I was at airborne school. You know, Marines, we have to go through, well, everyone, Navy SEALs, everybody has to go to Army airborne school. But my black hat, that dude had a mustard stain on his jump wings, right? He jumped into Panama. Unbelievable. Anyway, example two, and I say mustard stain, it's a gold star on your jump wings for the Army. Example two, Pablo Escobar. The DEA brands him a narco-terrorist before it's even a legal term. Next thing you know, paramilitary units with U.S. backing are hunting him down. Who benefits? Rival factions friendly to the U.S. interest. Example three, you guys are familiar with this one. All my veterans out there. Saddam Hussein, different label. Weapons of mass destruction. Same playbook, though. Brand them, target them, remove them. Now Maduro's sitting on some of the biggest oil reserves on earth. Google it. Don't believe me? Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves on planet Earth, even more than those Saudis. He irritates global trade and powers, and now $50 million says, bring me his head, right? That's not a criminal case. That's a prelude to removal. He's not going to last long. I did think it was funny when him and Elon Musk were going back and forth, and he went out there. He walks outside his house and has military, like a defense outside his house. He said, if Elon Musk comes down here with his robots, you get him. It was funny. And now, though, the U.S. is moving toward direct military action against certain cartels. But here's the trick. Once you designate them as a foreign terrorist organization, the Pentagon gets full counterterrorism authority. That means JSOC raids, drone strikes, cross-border missions. No need for Mexico's permission anymore. Mexico has already called it a violation of their sovereignty, which is diplomatic speak. If you do it, we might start shooting back. I don't think y'all want that war, Mexico. I'm sorry. I don't think it, right? And here's the dangerous part, though. If one U.S. soldier catches a bullet in Mexico, you just open up second front during a fragile domestic situation, right? That's the scary thing. That's the scary thing. It's going to open up Pandora's box. Yeah. But, you know, hey, man, we've just been doing target operations before Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. Remind me how those short-term actions worked out. We'll be at Mexican-American war again for the next 30 years, right? And then cartel and such. It'll be guerrilla warfare again, man. We're always getting caught up in guerrilla warfare. It's a nasty thing. Nasty thing. But here's Pam Bondi talking about
Department are announcing a historic $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Nicolás Maduro. Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, Sinaloa, and Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country. To date, the DEA has seized 30 tons of cocaine linked to Maduro and his associates, with nearly 7 tons linked to Maduro himself, which represents a primary source of income for the deadly cartels based in Venezuela and Mexico. Cocaine is often laced with fentanyl, resulting in the loss and destruction of countless American lives. The DOJ has seized over $700 million of Maduro-linked assets, including 2 private jets, 9 vehicles, and more. Yet Maduro's reign of terror continues. He is one of the largest narco-traffickers in the world and a threat to our national security. Therefore, we've doubled his reward to $50 million. Under President Trump's leadership, Maduro will not escape justice, and he will be held accountable for his despicable crimes. If you have any information to bring this criminal to justice, call 1-202-307-4228 or go online.
Maduro, you may be in trouble, homie. You might be. 50 million? I mean, that had me thinking. I started counting magazines last night. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. But let me tell you this too, though, is that what happened in Maduro, with Maduro in Venezuela this last election, is pretty much the same playbook the Democrats use, right? As far as the spike at 2 a.m., the whole thing. If you look at their election process, the same thing was happening that the Bidens were doing, and it's tragic to the people. It makes their vote not count. You know how you felt when Joe Biden was said to be president with that 2 a.m. spike. The same thing, man. Those people are down there feeling, I think he's a freaking dirtbag. I really do. But, you know, the thing is that he should have been called up before that. Not because he badmouthed this particular country that apparently everybody has more allegiance to than their own. Right, there's Sarah Huckabee Sanders. But the other thing is about the drugs, man. I absolutely hate drugs. I do. I despise them all. I think they're terrible. I would love to see us wipe out drugs. I just don't know if that will happen. We've been fighting the drug war forever. And unfortunately, that money is very strong. It controls a lot of very high-ranking people up to presidents. Not of the United States, but other countries. And when you look at Mexico, I mean, it's completely compromised. Completely compromised. I would love to see us wipe it out. I just don't think it's possible. Obviously, I even think here in the U.S., local law enforcement, they don't even receive the support they should to help wipe out their local drug, their meth houses, and so on. I think it's tragic. I think it destroys people's lives. I've never met a drug addict or user that was successful in life. I think it's a terrible thing, and I would love to see it just get wiped off the face of the planet. But I think it's just too hard, man. It's the most sold thing in the world. I want to play a clip, though, of Candace Owens kind of discussing this Israel allegiance thing when she talks about the Canadian tariff deal. Check it out.
Israel. And we see that again. He tweeted this out. This is not a joke. Matt Walsh had the perfect response to it, but Donald Trump tweeted this. He tweeted, "Wow, Canada has just announced that it is backing statehood for Palestine. That will make it very hard for us to make a trade deal with them. Oh, Canada." Oh, I'm sorry. Canada is saying they're going to acknowledge Palestine as its own state, and Trump is saying that means we aren't going to do a deal with Canada. Somebody explain that to me very slowly, because I don't understand it.
I don't understand either, Candace. I also want to show a clip of Tim Cook showed up at the White House. They're moving some Apple manufacturing here, primarily the glass. used on iPhones, screens, as well as the watches. And moving it to Kentucky. And Tim Cook presented Donald Trump with a piece of glass made here in the U.S., like cut out for him, designed by a Marine Corporal, Semper Fidelis, that works for Apple now. And then a 24 karat gold plated, or 24 karat gold, not plated, 24 karat gold stand. But I want you to notice who you see hovering behind him, Donald Trump, that is.
U.S., California, and this glass.
There he is, guys.
Morning line. It's engraved for
You see Howard Lutnick right there? He's never more than 2 feet away.
President Trump. It's a unique unit of one. It was designed by a U.S. Marine Corps corporal, a former one, that works at Apple now.
That's good. He's done well.
Designed it for you. And the base comes from Utah and is 24 karat gold. And it sits, I'll take the liberty of setting it up.
Wow.
Well, let's see. There we go. Congratulations,
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
President.
It's
Thank you
fantastic.
so much.
The great people of Kentucky. You're going to find it a great place to do business, too. It's fantastic.
So I didn't even know that they had gold in Utah. Maybe I'm an idiot. I've been to Utah a few times passing through there. Very cool. Anyway, bringing some manufacturing back here. Obviously, a lot of that will be made in China just because it's technology. But any movement back towards the U.S. is a good thing. It's going to open up 20,000 jobs, and that's part of Trump's strategy to bring U.S. manufacturing back to the home, America. So 20,000. I was happy to hear that even Tim Cook, though, referencing he has a veteran Marine working for him, and gave him the honor of designing that. Cool as well. But that was not the part of the video. The part of the video was to show Howard Lutnick hovering behind Trump again. I don't get it, but mystery man in Trump's shadow doing ceremonial paper tearing. We have the DNI talking aliens instead of Epstein, and bounty on foreign leaders' heads. That smells like a regime change, and it will be. U.S. is gearing up for potential shooting wars with cartels. You can believe it's all coincidence, or you can see it for what it is. A coordinated plays on a global chessboard. That's how it always is. Stay sharp, guys. Stay dangerous. Don't get played. Black Scout out.
2, 3. 1, 2.